Nick Padone. He's Rafa Hernandez Brito, Cavs bilingual play-by-play announcer. What's up, bro?
It's the Booby last word. Wait, am I gonna get like a surprise here? Like I don't know where Booby's gonna pop up. But don't we have a segment like where in the world is Booby?
Where in the world is Booby? I don't think we're doing that today.
No,
We've
Booby
done it in the past where Booby has joined us from Columbus, Ohio, scouting.
From
He's
LA
joined
somewhere,
us from
walking around.
LA, walking around. He's joined us from all over, but today he is in the sky.
Booby is on assignment.
Traveling. On assignment.
Yeah.
So he is in travel from I don't know where.
I don't know from where. But
flying out
like
from
they always
here.
say, I don't know in what industry they say this. I might be in Hollywood. The show must go on. So here we are.
Exactly. I think definitely Hollywood, definitely at big play. Show must go on. On today's show, we're going to discuss the biggest headlines as it pertains to your Cleveland Cavaliers. Then we're going to rip around the league, look elsewhere around the association. We're then going to rank the top 3 movie sequels of all time because Raph has some thoughts on that. Of course, then we're going to check in on our worst take that we saw on social media this week because a usual offender made his way back to this segment.
The founder of the segment.
The founder of the segment has returned, and Raph has some thoughts there. And then we're going to go down memory lane, talk all things Cavs. But, Raph, I want to start with this. People are panicking. The streets are panicking a little bit. You go on Twitter after these games, drop 2 out of 3, whatever, after All-Star break. People are starting to freak out, whatever. Here's my take on this whole stretch that the Cavs are in that hasn't been the prettiest because there's been a few losses in there that we weren't familiar with. My whole take on the Cavs right now is, wouldn't you want this to happen now? Figure out the Kingston stuff now versus have some of these missteps happen later down the road, come April, May, when you're looking to really make some noise and pick up some momentum come playoffs?
It depends if what you consider that is just happening. And we lost 2 games. For anybody out there, and I hate to break it to you, I know the Cavs were the hottest team in the NBA in the month of January and February. 2 8+ game winning streaks and anything you want to call it. But if you actually thought that the Cavs were not going to lose again this season, I mean, I hate to break it to you, we will lose more games before April 15 when the season ends, right? And we lost, yes, games that we should have won, but, we lost to Orlando in a game where we were just coming back from the break, no Donovan Mitchell. We're fighting, and this is the important thing that you have to keep in mind, that now that you mentioned the season is coming to an end, we are going to be facing teams that are either fighting for their life to make it out of the play-in or to make it into the play-in tournament. So the games are going to be important, but to lose games, I think that what you have to look into is the circumstances around it. Of course, you hate to lose. Nobody likes to. What is that saying that they like? They hate losing more than they like winning.
You hate.
That's the case.
You
Trust me, it is
than
for
you
the
hate
players.
to
But
win.
at the end of the day, we continue. We won on the road again. We won a game that we should have won, and then we face a Philadelphia and an Orlando team. That again, Orlando is trying to get into the top 6. Philadelphia is trying to avoid falling out of the top 6 with the injuries of Embiid. So everything is okay. Donovan Mitchell is back. Hopefully, the things that we cannot control, like health, are going to be on our side, and then we're going to go down the stretch.
Yeah, the sky is not falling, but any stretch of the imagination. We'll get more into Cavs headlines later into the show. Raph, you know what else we like to talk about? We like to paint with a broad brush here on Booby's World. It's NFL Combine Week. In all of your ventures of play-by-play and media, you ever find your way down to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis?
No,
for the Combine?
because by the time the Super Bowl ended, the last thing I wanted to see or hear was talk about football. And I think that's something that you learn here moving and living in Cleveland, that there's a 3-hour show specifically by the Browns talking about football. Follow before that, there's another 2-hour show that all they talk is about football and what the players are doing and who's running the 40-yard dash.
The 40-yard dash.
And
the bench press.
How many times the bench press and how high he jumped. And I never had the desire to go. And again, you know what? My job, my experience is on calling games, on preparing to tell a story to the audience. I find it useless for me, for my job, whether or not the guy can run 40 meters or 40 yards or whatever it is in whatever amount of time, or how high he can jump or how much. I don't even know what it means. I mean, all I've seen is those videos with Nick Chubb
Going
benching,
crazy.
like doing squats with a bar that is almost folding like this. I think it's wonderful and I think it's amazing. I don't get any use for it for my work.
You know what we've talked about doing here is a big play NFL scouting combine where we all participate
that.
in the different. Now, what do you think? How long do you think it would take you to run a 40-yard dash? That's the question.
40 yards. What do they run like?
So
what are the numbers? I tell you what, I definitely beat Rich Eisen.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking for.
That I can tell you without even having run a 40-yard dash.
Clip that. Rich Eisen, Rob is coming for you, baby, in the 40-yard dash.
But
got exactly. What I was
if you
for.
can help Rich Eisen in his yearly campaign because he raises money for St. Jude's Hospital.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead and do it. It's a great cause, but I think I can take him.
Yeah, and it's always a lot of fun when they roll that out. You know, just the tape of him absolutely hauling the 40-yard
I can tell you
dash
another
is very
thing.
fun.
Out of all the big play family, I think I can jump. Well, except for Booby, I can jump the highest.
Okay, Cribs involved in that too.
Ooh, yeah. Well, let's get the professional athletes out of there. I don't think it's fair to include professional athletes, but I think I can jump higher than Reflog.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
That
tall,
doesn't say
though.
much for my athletic abilities.
We got more Cavs headlines straight ahead. Don't go anywhere. More Booby's World right after this. Welcome on back into Booby's World. No Daniel Booby Gibson today. We're normally graced by his presence.
Yes.
It's Nick Padone, Rafa Hernandez Brito with you guys, hanging out here on the Big Play Network.
I'm sweating just thinking of me running next to Rich Eisen on the 40-yard dash.
40-yard dash. We got to make that happen. That would be fun. And some local high school is going to have security footage.
I'll have
of
Gab
Rock.
train me.
Yeah, we do have some runners on the network.
Yeah.
Gab would be the one to train us for sure. All right, want to take a look at some Cavs headlines as we go into some of the games that we're going to be watching this week. You know, later coming up this week, they have the Pistons, and the Pistons are a team that started off the year, as a lot of people know, kind of the laughingstock of the NBA. But more recently, Detroit Pistons are nothing to joke about. They've been playing a lot better basketball, more inspired basketball, as AC usually says on the English version of the broadcast, a team that kind of just plays better than what their record really is. And they have a lot of young, talented guys, Rob.
And you know what I always realize about the Pistons is that they might have the worst record in the NBA right now, but for sure they don't have the worst future or the worst outlook in the NBA. I think the team that we faced last weekend in Washington is a team that you sometimes wonder, like, what is it that they're building? I know they have the French kid, Bilal Koulibaly, that would be the one that they build around, but
he's good.
You know,
I like
he's
him.
really good. He got hurt that Sunday game against the Cavs, but you know, Poole is coming off the bench with the new head coach, and he came in and put up 30 points. But that's the typical Jordan Poole, right? And Kuzma is being Kuzma, but I think Detroit is in a better position future-wise, you know, compared to Washington right now.
Yeah. How about this? When the Cavs get a game like this on the schedule, we hear so much about this in sports, like a get-right game, you know, when things haven't been going exactly 100% your way. You think this Cavs team views teams like a Washington or like a Detroit as a get-right game to kind of steer their season back on track, or does that not really creep
No, I think they just look at every opponent, Nick, as this is what we have to do to beat them. I think the worst thing you can do in any level is underestimate your opponent. At the end of the day, on the other side, there's 15, 17 guys that are professionals that want to win, that get paid to win, and they are led by professionals that actually are in the business of winning. So you cannot take, and I think that happens to almost every team in the NBA at least once a season. We lost to the Blazers when they came in, and everybody thought say that we were going to win that game. I think on paper there are games where you know you have to execute, and there are probably easier games when you say, okay, if we do this, we can take these guys, right? There's less things to worry about or to prepare for or to take away from the Pistons than it is to playing against the Nuggets, for example.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
So I think there are portions of the calendar where there are teams that you are better than talent-wise, the moment that you live in. But at the end of the day, you have to come in and compete and execute.
Yeah, I think this is another big thing for me is what you said. At any level, you can't overlook your competition. One of my basketball coaches growing up, shout out Coach Steve. I know he's watching this show, always tuned into Booby's World. He used to tell us every grade that we would play, if we were, warming up and we saw the kids shooting around across from us and the kids were bigger, we'd be like, oh man, like this is going to be a tough day. Or if in the inverse, if they were smaller and they looked bad, he would say this, hey man, it's 6th grade playing against 6th grade. It's 7th grade playing against 7th grade. In the NBA, no different. It's NBA guys playing against NBA guys. And that's why we know on any given night, anything can happen. And these upsets do happen.
Not only that, but you know your personnel and there's got to be something you do better than the other. I'll tell you, since you brought up your high school coach, when I was in high school.
He coached us all the way. He coached us through grade school and high school.
When I was in high school back in El Salvador, high school basketball in El Salvador is bigger than anything else. Like I used to play in front of 15,000 people in the national gymnasium, right? And during the summer, they would put our team into a league where we would play with like adults. And we always trying to figure out, like in my case, okay, he's bigger than me, but I'm faster. Yeah. Or I play harder. So I think that's what you do in terms of preparing for a matchup against any team. It's like, okay, this is what we have to do to take away what their strengths are, and then this is what we gotta do to execute the victory. But for sure, there's not a single night where the Cavs go into a game thinking, we got these guys.
Yeah,
and I think when they do that, we've seen the result all across the league where teams go out and lay an egg.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's keep looking down the schedule for our Cleveland Cavaliers, because on Sunday the Cavs will have a little rematch on their hands against the New York Knicks, and the fans are going to make this game out to be a very big deal because it's a rematch of what we saw in the NBA playoffs last year. You think this game will be a little bit of a playoff atmosphere at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse this weekend?
I hope the fans are there with a playoff atmosphere, but I can tell you that it's just going to be, and I hate to bring the cliche, but it's just another game. You do want to win at home. You do want to win because all games matters. You do want to win because the Knicks are behind us right now. So it is important, but I don't think it's going to be a thing that if we beat the Knicks, that's it, we got them, right? Once we get into the playoff, it's going to be a whole different story. It's going to be an important game because we want to win every game, but the fans got to come in and bring it in. I don't know if you were watching last weekend the Knicks at Celtics, the Celtics at Knicks.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I love about, and this is not because I was a New Yorker, I'm never a Knicks fan, and my family, they're all Knicks fans and season ticket holders and everything. But there's one thing that I love about the Garden, about the only thing I love about the Garden, not the building, but the fans. They watch the game, and the moment that ball gets tipped, the organ starts, bang, bang, defense. And it's an atmosphere that they know the what's at stake. The Celtics were in town, the best team in the league, the #1 team in the East, and they were right behind the fans. There was at one point, and this is another thing that I love, because they do watch the game, Nick, and I hate to say, I'm not saying our fans don't, but they do watch it at a level that there was a play that was a very key moment, and every single person, at least in the level that you could see on TV, were begging Tom Thibodeau to challenge the call on the floor, and obviously Tom Thibodeau was told not to. But it's like that's how much and how into the game they are. And the most important thing is for fans to realize that we need them to make noise when we're down 8. Yeah. When we're up 8, it's good. It helps to keep the other team down. But when we're down 8, that's when the team has to feel the support, especially from the home crowd.
Yeah, especially for the home crowd, especially against those New York Knicks, man, because
it's going to be a different game.
It's going to be a different game, and the Cavs definitely got to kind of pack their lunch type of game. You're going to be a physical atmosphere, and I'm looking forward to that one for sure. I know that it is just another game on this Cavs schedule, but I'm excited to see Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, really get physical, assert themselves down in that paint area, and just kind of right some of the wrongs for themselves mentally. You know, leave this out because it does just count as one game out of an 82-game season, but I think it plays well for the psyche of a guy like Jared Allen and a young guy like Evan Mobley to go out there and have a good performance, rectify what happened in the playoffs last year. The Cavs currently are, I think, 1-1 with New York this year, so a chance to prove to 2-1 with two good performances from the bigs, I think would be just
And
great
it doesn't matter that Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby will probably continue to be out for the, Anunoby with the elbow and Mitchell Robinson with his other injury that kept him up on the knee for a while. But, Isaiah Hartenstein was Bill Walton in that series against us last summer. And then they have Precious Achiuwa who came in on the trade. So they do continue to have size that will challenge our big guys. But if our big guys come out the way they played against Washington, for example, where they both scored more than 20 points, I think it's going to be a good game. But the key for the Cavs continues to be ball movement, continues to be high percentage from three-point range, and continues to be the execution of the bench players. And I think that at the end of the day, the simplest form of basketball, it was going to take this team far.
I love it. Straight ahead, are fans of the Cavs and maybe some in the Cleveland media being too harsh on one Darius Garland? We answer that question when we return on Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. Welcome on back into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. I'm Nick Padone. He's Cavs bilingual play-by-play announcer.
Yeah, baby.
Rafa Hernandez Brito. Raf, I got to ask the question. You log on Twitter, you listen to the radio, you see some of these columns that are being written about Darius Garland. A lot of negativity, man. Do you think Cavs fans and media are being a little bit too hard on DG right now?
I think we're a little bit more like instant gratification. And I think missing the whole big picture about whether he was out for a long time, came back, got his minutes restriction removed after another week away from basketball for the All-Star break. But, Darius Garland continues to be a very important piece in the whole process of the Cavs going back to the playoff and winning that first series and moving on forward. But I think hard in a sense that they just want everything right away, man. And again, we are going to lose games. We are facing teams, like I told you before, that are fighting for their life in the playoff or to make it into the play-in or to stay out of the play-in. And every game is going to be hard. The pressure keeps on going up on mountain until you kind of get to a position, hopefully by the end of March or at the beginning of April on that last West Coast trip where you kind of have your position established. But, Darius Garland, I'll tell you, the simple answer to your question is the Cavs are going to be in a better place if Darius Garland continues to get better and continues to get in rhythm with his return from injury.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to share this with you, Raf, is in 2019, DG's rookie year in the NBA, I covered a lot of games at the Fieldhouse in the John Beilein era, and that was the year where Darius Garland was statistically the worst player in the NBA, and he was very aware of that statistic heading into the next year where ultimately was able to turn the corner and have an all-star caliber season. Darius Garland, to me, is a player that relies a ton on momentum. And I think we all just need to give him time to get himself into a rhythm and allow momentum to build behind him. Because when he's not feeling that shot, he's not the type of player to press. Instead, he looks to facilitate and help his teammates out elsewhere. And for people that are just watching the box score, I get the Cavs are paying DG a lot of money. I understand where you guys are coming from, but there's a little bit more ways that he will impact the game than just scoring the basketball at a high clip on a nightly basis. And that scoring, guys, will come. I'm telling you, he's a momentum player. He goes with the ebbs and flows. He doesn't press much. And I think once he catches fire, DG the PG, as we know him, Raf, will be back in his truest form. And I think we just all got to chill out a little bit. He's just getting back from injury and give him time to get that footing underneath him so he could start to hit that stride again. Because I remember when I was watching those games with Beilein, man, and he was just, there was no confidence there. And that's kind of a shell of DG that I've seen a little bit more recently.
But remember,
he's got to get some confidence back.
You mentioned he was his rookie year. Remember what happened to Darius Garland in his college career? He played, 5 games? Tore his meniscus, was out the rest of the season, never went back. And then he started to learn a different style of game at the professional level. So we cannot forget that this is a guy that's still growing to get better. And at the end of the day, the record says it all. Like, why do you want Garland to score 50 points if we're still winning games? Like, he's come back, had a double-double with 10 assists, had 2 or 3 games with 9 assists. He has hit 9 assists at least 5-6 times this season. So, like you said, he is looking for ways to impact the game. He's looking for a way to come in and readjust himself into this new game that we've been playing, and it's something that he was a part of last year, because it's not something that the Cavs out of nowhere discovered like the Warriors did, for example, in the first finals in 2015 when they got hurt and also saw it's like, oh, let's put what's his name, Lee, people. Oh my God, look, small ball, right? Yeah. We were this good last year, sharing the ball, playing good defense, and now we're going back to our roots, to a basketball culture that JB Bickerstaff has established. So give it some time. We still have 20-plus games to finish the season, to get ready for the second season. He's going to be, I think, in a better place, having missed a month. When he gets into the playoffs, he'll be a lot fresher than everybody else will. Yeah. So, hey, just give it some time, and I think Garland is in a good place.
Me too. I agree. Give DG some time, guys. It'll all be okay. I want to hit on this real quick as we whip around the NBA shortly. The Clippers rebranded. Did you see that? Some new Clipper logos. Yeah. Kind of weird that happened mid-season. What is your favorite Cavs look? Whether it's a logo, whether it's a uni. When you think Cavs basketball, and if you had to pick one all-time favorite look that the Cavs rolled out, what are you going with?
I have to. Remember, I've been here for 10 seasons, so I'm going to stick to those seasons. Because okay. If you asked me from before, how can you not go with the full orange suit for Will Be Free, right?
I know it.
But the black jersey, the what's it called? The statement uniform that we used to win the championship, you can't go against that. I mean, come on. It's a statement. It is a jersey that means the banner that is hanging at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. But I'll take that for my years.
Okay.
From all of it all, like what I like as a fan, those orange shorts and jersey with the Cavs logo that we have now with a different font.
Yeah.
I'll take those in a heartbeat.
Yeah, those are cool. I love the V with the basketball going through it.
But that's a different font.
Yeah.
In that orange suit. Than the one we have right now. Ours now is a little more to this day and age. So
sure.
A little tighter, yeah.
I definitely like when I look back at old Cavs uniforms, really old NBA uniforms from LeBron's first trip in Cleveland, the navy with the big Cleveland.
I didn't like
across
the font though.
You don't like? I love
that look a little.
The big Cleveland across the front was just so cool,
funny.
Especially because the best player in the world was wearing it. And for me growing up, like to see LeBron, best player in the NBA.
And he was wearing a jersey like five sizes bigger than what he needed.
Exactly. With a gigantic Cleveland and that big C on his chest. It was just so cool for me.
LeBron could wear that jersey right now and it'd still be big on him. But I'll tell you a story. I think it's kind of funny. Remember when, I think it was the last season or the season prior to that, we came out with the retro look with the black and kind of light blue from the Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance days. Brad Daugherty told me that even the players didn't like that uniform. But now they came out and everybody was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And it kind of happens also with like the City Edition. I think we have some of the best versions of City Edition jerseys. And when you look at the jersey by itself or the kit by itself, you kind of like have to be told the story about it and everything. But once you see it with the court at the field house and you see that, it's really cool. I mean, it's really the last three or that we have done. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was really good.
Really cool.
The one that we did last year with the Metro Park Zoo was awesome.
Yeah.
This year is also really good. With Cleveland Playhouse. So I think we're in a good place in terms of designing things. From the old ones, I'll stick with the championship one.
I agree. I think the Cavs branding, I've said this for a while, is the strongest of all three sports in Cleveland. You could spot something out in the wild and be like, that's Cavs. Whereas the Browns have gone through their identity crisis. The Indians now Guardians for sure.
But if you think about it, most of the classic teams have kept their look.
Yeah.
I remember when I was with baseball. baseball in the late 90s. Remember before the Y2K? You might be too young to
I
remember.
remember. I
Like
know
the world is coming
yeah.
to an end. Y2K and everything. The baseball ran a campaign where they were gonna do like the uniforms of the future, right? And they asked every team to submit what the uniform would look like in 2020, right? And everybody turned in this like space looking thing. The Yankees sent the uniform they were wearing
Hey, man.
at the time because
They
the
were right.
pinstripes have never changed.
Never changed.
So the Celtics used the same uniform, the same font and everything. So I think the Raiders with the silver and black, it's best to just keep one thing that everybody will recognize it as the team, the kit for your team. So
Yeah.
I think we are in a good place right now with the new branding that we have.
We are. I like it a ton. It looks really good. Like you said, it looks good on TV. It looks good on the court at the games themselves.
Looks good on you.
Yeah, it looks good. Right, just on fans wearing around. And I think that's how you've really hit it out the park with that. You think it's weird that the Clippers just dropped these mid-season?
Well, I think they're just getting ready for the exodus. They're finally they're not gonna be the guys renting.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be the second
new home,
the second
man.
fiddle. They're gonna have the Intuit Dome, and they're doing some really cool things. Other than the new uniform, the new logos, and everything. I don't think they're changing it now. I think they're just announcing.
They're just announcing it.
What they're gonna have for next season. But they're doing something really cool at the new Intuit Dome, which is behind one of the baskets is going to be like the Clipper fans zone.
Yeah.
And those games are not. You're gonna be prohibited from reselling them, other than reselling them in the Clippers website. So that way they make sure that they get
Clipper fans.
And they will not allow anybody to wear anything other than Clipper fans behind that. It's kind of like the football, the soccer back behind the goal kind of stuff. So I'm eager to see what that looks like. I'm eager to see how much fans are they gonna get.
I know. I'm
pretty sure it's gonna be a pretty penny to go see the Clippers at the new arena.
For sure. One, it's right next to SoFi Stadium out there in Inglewood, California.
Hard to get in and out.
Yeah, very difficult to get in and out. And two, I wonder, because they've publicized it so much and have talked about how it's just for Clipper fans, who's going to be the first person to try to sneak in there in a Cavs jersey? I'm just saying. Might be me.
Well, no, but you'll be able to go. You just won't be able to sit in that area.
How what if I go in?
Oh, they'll do it. They do it in.
I'll go in a Clippers hoodie.
Wait. It's
and I'll take
in
it
Tampa
off.
Bay or in Florida. The hockey team in what are they called? The Panthers?
Lightning.
The Lightning or whatever. There is an area where they have a curtain that separates the concourse.
Yeah.
And there is somebody there not allowing people through if you're not wearing the home team kit. So I think it can be done. I don't know. I hope it doesn't turn into the way it turns in the football side. That when you have like fans travel, but not as much as in soccer. That you can have the other side of being like the visitor fans.
Yeah.
So. Hey, it's great for the game. It's growing, a new arena. The Clippers finally going to have their home because those games when we do usually like back-to-backs and then the Lakers play us at 2 and then the Clippers play at 7 and you haven't even finished your postgame and they're already unplugging and taking everything, changing it from purple and gold to whatever the Clippers are wearing that night, the black or the red. So I think it's great for the league. It's great for the city of Los Angeles, another venue to bring in concert, to bring in things. Then I'm sure it's not going to be like Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, but
and I'm going to be the first person to sneak into the fan zone wearing a Cavs shirt when the Cavs are out there.
How about you're going to win it and then take it off?
I'm going to go in a Clippers hoodie. I'll have a Cavs shirt underneath, and I'll take it off.
I'm sure I'll see you in the 5 o'clock news then.
First person to sneak in. You heard it here first on Booby's World. Straight ahead,
people, man.
We're going Roth for 3. Don't go anywhere. Welcome on back into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. Raph was talking a little bit about Y2K and how everyone thought the world was going to come to an end. I got a movie recommendation that you got to watch if you haven't yet. It's been out for a minute now, but I just this past weekend got around to watching Leave the World Behind on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It's really good.
What is it about?
It's kind of Y2K-esque where all the I don't want to spoil too much, but technology stops working as we know it today, and weird things start happening. It reminded me a little bit of Y2K.
Wow.
Gotta say. And it ties perfectly in with today's
I can't
movie for
imagine
three.
what happens if technology stops functioning. Right now, you leave your phone at home. You leave your phone at home, and you feel like you left a limb.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, like an extension
the
of
world
you. So
behind.
leave the world behind.
Wow.
It's a good one. It's worth checking out. I won't spoil it too much. Today on Booby for 3, we are going to rank the top 3 movie sequels of all time. And I believe there was a little bit of inspiration on why you wanted to do this.
Yeah, for some reason I shouldn't do this, but I just scroll through my feed sometimes, and you know how on X there's like a section where you can do of who you follow, and there's another section it's
Just
like it says
for you. Yeah.
So sometimes I like to sneak around on the For You side and see how bad X knows me, because sometimes they recommend stuff that is just like really dumb. But there was a tweet from some dude about the best sequels ever. And not only he had The Godfather Part 2 ranked 6, which was the first sequel to win an Oscar. And so right off the bat, he's going against the family, which is something you don't do, right? You never take sides against the family, according to Michael Corleone. But also he had Top Gun Maverick as the #1 sequel. Like, I don't think that of that movie as a movie, like a cinematography jewel. It's like, come on. Not only is a sequel that was made like 30, 40 years after, but it is not better than The Godfather.
All right, so I gotta know. Is so The Godfather?
The Godfather by far, it's like, now they went really bad when they do the third one, and they really killed it, right? But The Godfather Part 2, it is the absolute best movie ever, especially the best sequel. Now, if you ask me for 2 more, I'm not a Star Wars person, so I won't tell you any of those. I never watch any of the Star Wars movies.
Me neither. I'm not a movie person.
I never
really
watch any of the Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, whatever that is, won like 14 Oscars or whatever, for different things.
Oscars coming up soon.
I'm trying to think what other sequels I like that
Kung Fu Panda 2.
Never watched either one. No, never watched one either.
You never seen Kung Fu Panda? It's a good movie.
No, I never.
Kids movie.
I'm trying to think there's really not that many good sequels,
Yeah.
Because
hard to do.
But I know, for example, Return of the Jedi was blew
the box office.
the box office and everything. So
yeah,
I think those 3 are the ones that you can tell that, because usually when you have sequels, like Rocky 1 and Rocky 16, whatever he's at now, it kind of kills. It's really not that good a story. But The Godfather Part 2, I know there's people out there that never watched The Godfather. Like, go out and watch it. Have you watched all 3 of them?
Raf. My last name is Padone.
You never know, though. You never know. But there's so many good movies, but I can't think of more or better sequel than those 3 that I just gave you, because those are like jewels of cinematography, and I think that's like really good. I wish there was a sequel of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is one of my favorite movies. You ever watch it?
I've never watched
it. Dude, homework.
Okay.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson and a ton of actors that you'll notice there. That Danny DeVito is in it.
Oh, I like
the dude
that.
from the professor from Back to the Future. What's his name? Back to the Future. That's a good sequel too.
How about this movie that you wish had a sequel? For you, it's that one. Shawshank Redemption would be cool.
That's a movie I watch every time it's on TV.
You ever go to the?
No, I want to do that tour.
You got to do it.
I hear you got to do it yourself. It's not like a guided tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went on a field trip once a long time ago. Fun fact, obviously Shawshank Redemption was filmed there. Also, Lil Wayne's Go DJ music video filmed in there. There was a golden jail cell, a golden toilet, everything, where Lil Wayne shot that music video. There's a ton of
like Scarface would be a good.
It's weird, man.
Sequel.
Maybe we'll have to do Booby's World live from the reformatory.
I actually suggested it before. That would be amazing to me to do that. Like, there's so many good movies, but I think some of them are best to be left behind the way they were done. Just leave it like that. But the Shawshank Redemption, it's a movie that I watch like all the time.
It's a good one. Alrighty, straight ahead. There was a worst take this week from a usual offender, and we will read it. Don't go anywhere. More Booby's World right after this. Back into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. We got to watch some movies, man. That was my takeaway from last segment.
Leave the world behind.
Leave the World Behind is my recommendation. Again, it's new. It kind of just recently came out.
That kind of goes against what
months.
Hillary Clinton used to say: "You leave no kid behind." Did she make the movie or no?
I believe, get this, I believe like Barack Obama is part of the production company that put the movie out.
I wasn't too far.
So there's people that are, because it's like a creepy kind of scary movie. So if you're not into that, I probably should have led with that. It is a little creepy. So people online are like, what are they trying to tell us? You know, like, what do they know? I don't really think it's that deep, but
I don't look at a movie like that. I enjoy the story, enjoy the acting.
Same, and it is definitely a good one. Julia Roberts and a bunch of others in there. Okay, worst take this week. Pull it up on the screen, Ryan.
Just read it.
I'm reading it aloud. This one comes from Garrett Bush at gbush91 on Twitter X. This is why it's hard to get behind this team. This is coming after a Cavs loss this past week. Without Mitchell, the entire bench, including coaches, are look content with taking L's and okay being pushed around, can't establishing a style of play and demanding the players adhere to it. How do you look tired coming out of the All-Star break? Hashtag Cavs.
First of all, you're doing him a really good solid here, trying to read it grammatically correct. But first advice for you, Garrett, as a speaker of the English language, that's my second language, try to proofread before you post something. And maybe you can take like Google grammar classes, because can you read that again for me, please?
It says, this is why it's hard to get behind this team. Without Mitchell, the entire bench, including coaches, are look content. So I think that's where you're having that's where you're having a little
all
bit.
Look content, maybe he meant to say.
Maybe, yeah, we could interpret it like that.
And
all
okay with being
with taking L's and okay being pushed around. Can't establishing a style play. Obviously, I think the ing was just added. Can't establish a style of play and demanding that the players adhere to it. How you look tired coming out of the All-Star break.
Okay, I'm surprised he used a comma in there somewhere, but
Ralph, you know what this reeks of to me. I'll cut Garrett a break. G. Bush, I hear you. I think you use talk to type. So like when you ever like text, like
so now it's City's fault. Now City's being dumb.
I'll do this to my girlfriend where like I'll be like getting ready to go somewhere and she's at the store and I'll be like, hey, real quick, pick up some eggs, pick up some toast. I want breakfast for dinner. Send, and it'll come through a little bit weird and it says sent by Siri. I think he was sent by Siriing Twitter. I think that's
let me give you a tip. You can actually say, hey, comma. and then Siri would actually type a comma, right? First of all, I have the problem, and the reason I recommend proofreading, I have the problem that I write in 3 languages. So I have to check sometimes what language I have my keyboard on. The other day I sent, this is a true story. We were in Washington the first time we went there, and there was something going on with the spot for Serena Winters, the silent reporter for the Cavs on Bally. So I texted something to her, but didn't realize that my keyboard was in Portuguese, and I typed in English. So Siri tried to recorrect words that kind of like sounded the same.
That's funny.
And she replied to me, "What?" And then I realized there was something wrong with it, so I went back. It wasn't as bad as Gary, but back to the take. There's nothing worse than fair weather fans. Right? And again, what I told you earlier in the show, the Cavs are going to lose more games. We're still on track to have a better record than we did last season. But we're still going to run into situations where we're going to play 17 games in which we're going to fly after every game and one play in the same city until we play in LA 2 games in the beginning of April. So there will be games that we are going to take the L. And it won't be, Garrett, because the guys or the coaches are content in the bench being pushed around or content with losing. It is just the way the day-to-day is in the NBA. And they weren't tired coming off the All-Star break. We lost the game, man. Relax. I know you're an expert of like bandwagon, and because I know you jump on and off every week with the Browns, but this is a long season and it's a marathon. And you can't be just, first of all, blaming the guys for losing. It's like, imagine that. I guess the Warriors were content at being pushed around 9 times in the whatever season.
73 and 9.
73 and 9. They were content being pushed around. Or so easy. Just stay in the wagon. Don't be a fair weather fan. We need you in the good, kind of like a marriage here, like in the good and the bad. Well, this is the same thing here. Kind of, you got to stick around with us, man. We still one of the hottest team in the leagues in the calendar year. So we got space for you.
We'll bring him back onto the bandwagon. We're stepping aside so I can reel Rafa in.
Just don't tweet too often.
To close the show. You guys got to be careful when you send these tweets because he's coming for him.
Who polices the police?
By Rafa. He polices the police, and we have more Booby's World straight ahead on the Big Play Network. Welcome back into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network.
Hey, before you go, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
If this no longer called Twitter, it's called X.
Man,
do you still tweet?
Here's the thing.
Or you X now?
Who's calling it X? That's what I want to know because like it's become so part of our culture of like, oh, I read this on Twitter or I saw this tweet.
Like he changed our language completely.
Yeah, like
because you used to tweet or tweeting. I mean, it became a verb, an adjective, and everything like Google.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I'm Googling it.
Google that.
Like,
you know, it's like now you go change the name for Google. It's like you're changing the English language. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm still calling it. I've been calling it Twitter. I guess in this media scape, like when we do pitch decks, you know, we're presenting to our guys at Tipico, we're presenting to our guys at Garage Beer. We call it X because that's technically what it's called.
Okay, but if you call it X,
the engagements on
what is
X.
the act of X? Are you Xing?
So I think Elon answered this. It's just posting. You just post on X.
That's boring. That's boring.
He answered.
I like the fact that it was the verb and the act of and the act of doing it. I even spelled differently.
Yeah.
Right. Tweet and Twitter and tweeting is like I love it.
I can't believe still that you got to pay for your blue check. That's.
It depends if you what kind of importance you give to the blue check. But
what do you give it? Important or not?
I want Big Play to put me in. I know that Big Play got the golden check. Kind of like
Booby's
the
World's
Willy
got
Wonka.
it. Booby's World's got it.
Yeah, I know, but now you see like Reflog has like the blue check and the Big Play square next to it.
Yeah. I know. I don't have
Big Play?
I know. Twitter is so crazy. What's crazy, though, too, about the blue check is it does kind of pay for itself because now they have, like, the creator fund where if you have the blue check, Elon cuts you a little check about every month. I like it comes...
Hey, send me a Tesla.
It comes through... No, I have a Tesla that I pay for. Elon, you just forgive my car loan, man. You don't got to keep sending me the $12 for Chipotle every month. Bro, just forgive the Model 3. I'll keep paying for the blue check, and it'll be like none of this ever happened. That's the arrangement. Full square. Raf, I'm glad that I feel like this was therapeutic in a way that there were a lot of people that were freaked out about the Cavs. And this episode, I think we were successfully able to calm the internet down a little bit.
We'll be fine.
That's all we look to do here on Booby's World.
Getting better every day and hoping for big things coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Big things coming up for Booby's World show as well. I know Booby's not here today, but he is working on tracking us down some big-time guests.
Yep.
And the Cavs are kind of dipping into his world quite a bit with these 10-day contracts. I saw Sharif Cooper, the latest, up here with a 10-day contract. Obviously, Pete Nance was up here with a 10-day. Zaire up here in Cleveland for a 10-day.
Wait a minute. Pete Nance got a two-way now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Two-way. So the Cavs are definitely kind of stealing some of Booby's guys, but I know he doesn't mind it. I know he is all about developing and helping us find that next generation of Cavalier basketball, but we're going to hear from some of those guys on Booby's World.
The best part about it is that the Cavs are really good at repaying and showing the recognition of the hard work they're putting in. You know, Mike Garrity and all his coaching staff and all the players have done a really good job, and Sharif has done an amazing job for the Charge this year. So, hey, And we're happy to have him, and hopefully he gets some minutes in there.
Absolutely. We will see you guys next week on Booby.